Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera. Okay, this week we are moving to the last chapter of this course, right? Which is security and business continuity. This chapter is about how firms can secure their IT assets against malice and disaster, right? So this topic will explain why the strongest of security technology leaves firms vulnerable to security breaches, and how non-IT managers can help protect their firm's IT assets in ways that IT managers cannot. Okay. Okay, again, based on our roadmap, we are still in the last part of this course, which is governance, right? So, in security and business continuity, uh, we will learn about IT security and how IT protect IT assets against malice and disaster. Okay, and also how to resume the business operations if these things happen. Right? Okay, these are the agenda of this chapter. Okay, we are going to start with explores the IT security problems, and then we learn how firms can secure their IT assets against malice and disasters. Next, we will learn why technical safeguards fails, and the last agenda is security as exercise in business trade-offs. Okay, so in this part one video, I will explain a part of this chapter, which we are going to discuss about the IT security problems and how firms protecting against malice and disasters, right? Okay, these are the jargon used throughout this chapter, right? Basically, you need to know all this jargon when you're dealing with IT security, right? So the first one is IT security breach. It is regarding a malicious effort to either make an IT system inaccessible to its users or to steal sensitive data or intellectual property, right? So the second one is a security trade-off. It is basically about a situation when we increase IT security, it is usually inconveniences legitimate users. Okay. Next is a social engineering. It's about tricking legitimate users into reveal information needed uh, for them to access a secured IT system. Okay. So next is a security credentials. It's about something you know, something you have, or uh, what you are. Okay, which is the more is the better. Okay. So continue. The last jargon is continuity planning. It is a tactical plan to resume business operations if your entire IT portfolio were knocked out or destroyed. Okay. Okay. Now IT is a vulnerable business engine. Okay, this slide is just to give you an example by comparing conventional theft and IT intrusion, right? Okay, for IT intrusion, you can imagine if you could not see a theft inside your house, okay, while he stole your stuff and he remained undetected for months, and also you could not tell what he stole even months later, right? And the theft normally is untraceable. And this situation is totally unlike conventional theft, where we can spot the theft, right? We can catch the theft, we can tally missing stuff, and sometimes we can catch the theft, right? So for IT intrusion example given just now, that is precisely the problem with securing corporate IT system, right? So usually an attack on digital assets is possible from miles away and often invisible. Okay, and it can go undetected for months, right? And it's hard to figure out the aftermath, and it is often impossible to find the culprits because normally hackers can cover their tracks, right? So that is all about IT is a vulnerable business engine. Okay. Okay, this slide is about examples of security problems in IT. Okay, a study in US shows that in 2016, on average, a single corporate IT security breach cost firms about $4 million. Okay, and it takes 5 months for firms to even realize that they have been hacked. Okay, and hackers are able to roam around freely for almost 8 months on average after breaking in before firms can discover them, right? So the scale of industrial espionage, sabotage, and theft using IT cost firm about $500 billion annually, and it's about the size of Austria's entire economy. Okay. Uh, okay, in next slide, I will show you a figure illustrates the cost of every stolen record due to an IT security breach varies by industry. Okay. Okay, next example is IT security is not strategic, but failings can threaten survival. Okay, securing IT assets, it's hard because the internet original intent was connectivity, not security. Okay. So the penalties or consequences of IT security breach, it can paralyze operations, it can compromise sensitive information and intellectual property, as well as make reputational damage to the firm. Uh, or the firm cannot survive if its financial losses do not drive it out of business. Okay. So the third example is firms widely underreport such breaches because of liability, negative publicity, and the inability to prosecute across national borders. Okay, so all of this explains why strongest technology cannot contribute what non-IT managers can. Okay, okay. As I mentioned in the previous slide, this is the diagram illustrates the cost of each record breach in US firms differs dramatically across industry. Okay, it shows that the cost of every stolen record due to an IT security breach varies by industry. Okay, and increasing in more regulated industries such as financial service, pharmaceuticals, and healthcare. All right. Okay, what is the myth of secure IT? Basically, the two broad IT security problems that firms face are compromises of availability and intrusion into internal corporate systems. Right. Okay. Availability is most often compromised by denial of service attacks, where a malicious outsider overwhelms a corporate IT system with so much traffic that it renders it unresponsive to legitimate users. Okay, so the intrusion will be called hacking, uh, which is referring to apps vulnerabilities, are social engineering and the occasional brute force attacks. Okay, is secure computing a myth? Um, okay, in order to discard the myth, aspiration should be acceptable security, not perfect security. Okay, and resilience to rapidly bounce back from breaches without excruciating losses. So IT unit responsible for executing IT security, but not every IT asset, which is IT infrastructure, IT apps, and data, is equally important. Okay, the judgment about what is more important to your business should come from non-IT manager. All right. Okay, this table shows an overview of where non-IT managers can contribute. All right. Uh, so we start with the IT infrastructure. Okay, actually, IT infrastructure needs the least input from business since it is largely a technical challenge. That's why you can see cross over here. So the IT unit is the best position to decide how to protect it, right? Okay, for IT apps, line functions, which is non-IT units, are more knowledgeable about which IT apps need what level of protection. So the IT unit just execute IT security policy. Okay, for the data, non-IT managers' primary contributions to IT security decisions are data related. Okay, meaning what data really matters. Okay, so most security breaches are motivated to acquire confidential data. Okay, that can be sold, right? Exploit or altered. For example, customer information, trade secret, or intellectual property. All right. So IT unit will be executing the IT policies only. So to appropriately secure IT assets, the IT unit must know what data and apps are more critical and the trade-off between security and convenience acceptable to business user. Right? I think that's all for the first video. Uh, Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and salam sejahtera.